Welcome, everybody, to the Crypt Files, your once weekly follow-up to the hit Daggerheart actual play podcast. The In at the End. We're fresh off of a number of things. Scamming our buddy into giving us some information about some guys. And then...
Buddy.
Wow.
Clark?
Yeah, I felt like that was the most...
I was thinking of Trout, but yeah, I guess...
Yeah,
I guess
Trout. For sure.
And then going up to the rest because these motherfucking Lancers are impacted by dark magics.
I think it's just the captain who's infected because it seems like the rest of his crew is kind of confused as to why they're attacking this.
It's
Seems
weird
following
that they
orders
would just
and
do
just
it,
confused.
you know? So I got the right guy. I've been targeting the right guy the whole time. You guys have been just kind of wasting time this episode.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I destroyed the weapon, so...
Yeah.
Oh, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I am
I
murdering...
took
Murdering...
out
2
gunners. I caused that lightning thing to need to be recharged.
Yeah, true.
I'm murdering deckhands
This
because that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, and I'm going to go, and I'm in the aftermath of all this, I'm going to go and slurp up their memories.
No.
Put it with the rest of your stuff, and then you'll have it for later.
Okay.
Wow.
That's why I got the big package, so
Thank
I can get rid of them. That's my DM tip to all DMs, is give the giant package of mechanical pencils that are cheap, so you can just give them out for free.
Smart.
It's true. You do seem extraordinarily benevolent and generous when you do that.
Right?
It's pretty cool.
It's all a lie.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
A tip for if you're a player in my world is find Clark. Find an NPC that likes talking about the world, and that gives me a chance to just explain the world building. You know,
anytime we have a question about like magic and shit going on with like the triad stuff, we just go to him and like
we should have got his calling card. He probably doesn't have one. You'll have to use.
He's just like a regular guy.
The secretary.
We can literally go and find him.
Can you put Clark on?
Can
you put Clark on the phone? God, you stop doing this. Sure, yeah.
Literally, like if it were a video game, like before going and fighting the big bad, we'd like save. We'd go back to the towers. We'd find him. Clark. Make sure that there's no like dialogue options that are still lit up.
Yeah. Atticus, how did you feel about getting that poor person fired from their job for eating noodles?
I loved the whole noodle gag.
They didn't get fired. They're fine. If anything, they're probably going to stand up to their boss now.
Okay.
You know, they've
you
also
that they
had
can get away with it. Yeah.
Yeah. See, and they've carbo loaded.
Yeah.
So they have the energy.
So they're stronger than the boss.
They got the endurance.
Yeah.
I liked that because I was like thinking about, oh yeah, Napoleon doesn't give a shit about the workers, so he wouldn't care about this guy.
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna walk away from this.
For sure. I definitely care about the little guy. You know, I want the person to have their break time and be able to eat.
Right.
You know,
it's a waste of time.
And I hate bureaucrats. You know, these guys suck.
Yeah.
Because they're always like putting new regulations that make it really hard for me to rip things off ships.
It all checks out.
Like ownership.
And that is the place that would be telling that. That is where the union and the merchants meet, and they're like, we should control everything.
Yeah.
And you are a bane to their existence.
Yeah, would be extra aggro here.
Yeah, everything should just be for free for everyone. And if
just
you can carry it, it's yours.
Right. Wow.
You see, like, this tall elf guy can't carry much. You're saying you own all of the stuff in this warehouse? You can't. You can't carry all of this.
Yeah, prove it right now.
Yeah. Look, I'm carrying this stuff away from you.
And it's all yours.
Yeah. This episode, I think, really, or I guess the last 2 sessions, I think highlights so much of what Daggerheart does well. And it's like, lets us do these kind of, I don't know, bigger idea things quickly. Like that like, jumping off the balcony and like going through the streets. It didn't take that long.
Yeah, that would have been
But I think it was
down
still
quite
impactful. Like there was moments where it could fail and things could have turned bad.
I thought it was going to take, because, anytime you do a chase scene in like another game, sometimes it can take a while. But that I felt like we did it. I got to do cool stuff and it resolved.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and then we could kind of move on to another thing. And we got into a fight, and it's almost resolved as well.
Yeah,
right?
without being
the
cheated
fight
out
too,
of the scene.
I think like everybody really was doing the thing their character does well, and Which Mav getting blasted
Getting
and then
blasted.
taking people out.
Yeah.
Napoleon, you're flying around, dealing
I'm
with the threats you want to
surveying
deal with and be
the-
safe.
Take shots to the face.
Belcher, you were
Almost
invisible.
exclusively.
Yeah.
You chokeholded a guy.
Yeah.
You dealt with magic, and then you
Yeah.
were like sneaking around Atticus on the top of the ships,
Yeah.
and then just blasting folks.
I
Yeah.
have to point out, and maybe I shouldn't be letting you know this, but I'm going to let everybody know this. I am 1 hit point away.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took 7, and I have 8.
Yeah, I have 2 left. So
Yeah.
that's-
You
That's
took
cool
a
flying
2d20 hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
And
was
I
with the
think
lightning.
17 was my threshold for major.
Ooh.
I have full health, so
I think
I'm
I have
fine.
like
I'm
one
taking
thing.
I
any
pull out
hits.
my pistol.
Heck yeah.
Just shoot me.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was kind of the first time we ever got into a fight where we all must have just looked at each other like, whatever, let's split up. Because it's like normally we're like, stay together. I guess when we fought the vines, we kind of split up a little bit.
Yeah, with this system, the splitting up for the fight, like the fight can be much bigger.
Yeah.
I feel in
It
this
did.
system.
It
you
felt-
really don't have to worry about like the moving.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I moved this much and then this. It's like we're not
When
worrying
you-
about that as much.
And what's fun is when we split up, I was thinking about this, about the way the spotlight works and everything, is that it felt, before we've talked about in the Crypt Files, that when we're grouped up and we're fighting and we give up that spotlight, it hurts a little bit. And so you are questioning about, do I want to go? Do I not want to go? And we had some strategy about that a little bit today. But when we were split up, it felt a little less bad to give up the spotlight because it was like, well, what does Alex think is important right now?
for sure.
And I want to know what's happening in that scene.
Right.
over
And
there.
so
Like,
it did. It felt kind of like was over here, then it was over here. And like, the dealing with the captain and then like shooting that big cannon felt important. Because were you ever really attacked up there?
No.
Were
Well,
the
you
gunner
weren't-
shot at
yeah,
like when
they shot at me
it was-
twice, and it
Yeah.
hurt pretty bad,
the
actually.
little gunners, right?
right.
Yeah.
But
But that's something as the DM I can do, and it was like that moment where you had rolled to try and steal.
yeah.
And that was like a fear, and I was like realizing in the moment, it's like, well, this is just a reaction to that, and then we'll get back to you.
Right.
guys. Like this is where you failed, and they'll burn the reaction to try and take an attack, and then it goes back because that's what that failure or that fear felt like.
And
Or if it
felt-
was a fear of like the gunners in the front, then it's like maybe going to have to do something with that.
Yeah.
Where you even making the failure shifts where I'm going to put the spotlight.
Yes. It
which
felt
lets that flow.
very organic, very cinematic, very like I was pretty happy with how that all turned out. It felt really good.
Yeah, I liked your you trying to have a sly conversation with Trout, and it was like, you're like, this isn't how I usually do my dealings. It was like trying to do the backdoor negotiations,
Yeah.
but in a high rise.
Yeah.
and you're like, not really. This isn't really what I do.
Also, my God, I was struggling so hard to come up with like literally anything for like actual role play. So I was like, so anyway, Alex, we role play this situation, but I'm just gonna.
For sure. Absolutely. Yes. And that's the thing is like, yeah, as long as we preface that beforehand, I really do like that, doing that in game.
I've always had a hard time because I feel like when I play characters like this, or you have a big emotional moment or a big moment where you're supposed to feel smart or whatever, it's like I feel like my characters are always smarter than I am in real life, and so I'm like, I
Dude,
can't
tell me
role
about
play
it.
this. You know,
Yeah.
the only character I felt like I could ever keep up with was Arthur, because I could just talk forever and go around in a circle, without ever saying
I
anything.
thought you were gonna say Duroc.
Fuck, I miss Duroc too. Just the one word. Well, yeah, I'm almost back to Duroc a little bit with this character. One thing I was kind of getting into the rule book earlier while we were playing about the dual attack thing, and Daggerheart, right? There's not like a 2 attack situation because of your axes. I think because you're attacking with 2 axes, you get a bonus to your damage or whatever based on whatever your offhand is. And so I'm looking here, I've got the offhand
I don't know if
weapons. Well, maybe, because otherwise, though, how do you roll the attacks without giving up the spotlight? Otherwise, you're just rolling a regular attack.
You could miss that first one, and it's bad enough that you are incapable of doing the second one,
That's just, you just
and then it passes
Yeah.
over. But if you succeed on the first one, you can do the second one.
Well, you could do the second one anyway.
Yeah, you could.
But it's like anyone.
But not if I mean I'm saying succeed, but I mean if I don't roll with fear, I can pull off the second one.
Yeah, and there are there are some item abilities because every item has its own features and traits and different things, and they do different things depending on if they're in your offhand or not. I have found. So there's a table in the book called primary weapons. Then there's a table following it called offhand weapons. And if you look at the offhand or the secondary weapon table, rather, for example, there's one. If it is paired with another weapon, you add +4 to your damage to targets within range. So it just gives you a boost. There's other ones that say that if you hit or whatever, like what does this say? When you make an attack, you can mark as stress to then target another creature in range. So there's like, some of them have like different.
I remember that when I was doing the selection.
Because think about it, like you're just describing is just regular gameplay.
Right.
I think it's enforced by what I was describing a little bit ago with the damage, and then we said let's hold on. It says for the damage that if you would deal damage more than once for like one source or whatever. I don't know where this went all of a sudden, so now I'm multiple sources of damage. If damage would be applied more than once to a creature during a player's move, the damage is totaled before it's applied to the damage thresholds. So if a player with orc ancestry makes a successful attack against a target in melee range and decides to spend a hope to use their tusks, they would roll their normal weapon damage and add the d6 to the result. Then they would deal that damage to the adversary. So it's almost like if you're attacking with 2 weapons or whatever, it seems like you do the damage and then it's all applied to the threshold at once. So if you're attacking with your axe, you roll your damage. If you have a special secondary attack with your other axe, you would add the damage, and then it would go to the threshold all once. That way you're not dinging the threshold twice. Because that would just be 2 regular attacks where the spotlight could change. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Okay. Does that make sense?
So you're suggesting that one successful attack gets a swing from both axes.
Yeah, and in this case, you would probably look at the chart and figure out what bonus or whatever you would add to it.
Yeah, because we're just trying to hit that severe threshold, basically.
Right.
So by adding just an extra weapon damage, you can try to hit that severe threshold.
So, for example, this orc in this example, he attacks with his thing, and then he uses his tusks to attack. So he's like hits with an axe, hits with his tusks, which is an extra d6. But rather than like hits with his sword,
because you don't want to make 2 attacks,
right? That would be 2 attacks. You know, where you risk losing the spotlight. Does this make sense? I mean,
it's starting to.
It's kind of weird.
I just feel like I remember reading something as I was creating.
And there's probably something in your class that's
as
beneficial.
That's a good point.
I should probably take a look at that.
That's a really good point about class specialty.
Figure out what the benefit is giving you.
Like as something that they're giving you, just letting you make 2 attacks doesn't really make sense because you can just make an attack and then make another attack.
If you didn't have a class, you could just say, I'm going to make an attack, and if it hits, I'm going to make another attack.
Yeah, you could literally just go forever.
There's got to be some sort of benefit, and then it may be augmenting a single attack into something that's more powerful.
Yeah.
Or giving you options on things if they hit.
Yeah.
What's the barbarian called?
Slayer. And I am which variant am I? Warrior subclass.
Okay. Warrior. So, sorry, you guys can talk for a second if you want. I just want to look.
Dual wielding. While anyone can do it, the Slayer is a dedicated dual wielder, often pairing a large weapon with a secondary weapon or shield to maximize damage output.
There you go.
Yeah. That reads like it is just one.
Which would make sense.
So
but that's better for us.
That is. And that kind of makes sense if this is supposed to be the heavy hitter. Like you're always hitting that threshold.
Right. You're striving to get the severe damage versus doing like.
But
I would imagine though there's got to be something in there where it's like you can like targeting multiple is something beneficial as well.
But also with your recent discovery about how our proficiency adds damage dice, that means I would essentially be rolling on a successful 4d10s.
Potentially.
Yeah, but you're only doing even if you rolled 40 damage, you're only doing 3 HP damage.
Yeah.
That's true. I guess
That's the weird
the
trade-off with this
threshold
is
kind
like
of
when he says he's hitting you for
maximizes
20
it.
damage, I
Yeah.
cringe so hard. I'm like, holy
Right,
shit.
right.
But it's 3
But-
I
hit
know. I saw
points.
that, and I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh.
yeah.
But it's
3 hit points.
I know
yeah.
that that's the most it's going to be.
And you can mark an armor or something, you know.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I know he said that just now, and I was like, wait, you didn't do that at all.
Yeah.
You took that electricity just
Yeah.
straight to the
Yeah.
dome.
I ate it.
Yeah.
See, I mean, that's a really cool ability, though. You can spend a hope to add one of the damage dice from your secondary weapon to your primary weapon roll.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So that's your. I mean, maybe I'm not reading the same thing, but the weapon specialist. I mean, that's a powerful ability though,
Yeah.
because it essentially lets you just boost right up and get that extra threshold.
Yeah.
And then if you see, that's the weird thing about the weapons in this game. And again, I think it's one of the things where Daggerheart excels in distinguishing itself from Dungeons and Dragons is because remember we talked about this before. Dungeons and Dragons. Well, why would I use any longsword? I would just use the longsword. Why would I use any finesse weapon but the rapier?
A lot of the kind of coolness of a weapon into the weapon.
Right,
Where it's
exactly.
Like you want, we know why you want to use this weapon because it's going to do these things.
Right.
Yeah.
And so look at the chart and figure out kind of like, you know, and I'm sure we can fudge it just to make sure that the flavor matches. But for example, it's like
I have
if
2
you
battle axes.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
So just learn your character, and then
yeah, learn,
and everything will be fine. It'll
And
all
the-
work out.
The multi
I used my scepter for the probably second time.
Yeah, I think so. And the multi-target rules, it says if an ability hits multiple targets, you make 1 attack roll and 1 damage roll, applying the result to all affected targets.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So my whirlwind, that's what
right,
I would be doing.
right. That's pretty cool.
Cool.
So anyway, just food for thought because we're still like kind of unpacking the way that the rules
Yeah.
work over and over. And it happens to me a lot where I'm like playing. I'm like, shit, how did I do this last time? And for some reason, the rules don't quite have that staying power in your mind that the Dungeons and Dragons rules do. And I think partially because when you're dealing with the first edition book, you're also dealing with something that doesn't quite have.
The edges of the framework are a little fuzzy.
Yeah, the edge cases are a little bit more difficult. I mean, you know, I think if you go online, you can find probably a lot of the domain cards have already been like updated or edited or whatever because like maybe they weren't super clear about something or whatever. But also like the book isn't like laid out as clearly and logically as
Well,
like
I mean,
5e
the
is.
first edition of a TTRPG like this
Right.
is gonna be in constant testing phase.
Right. And
You know
that's
what I
exactly
mean?
what I
Like,
mean. And so
They're still kind of figuring things out.
right. So anyway, it's part of what makes it fun and part of what makes it charming. But
I dig it.
yeah, so we'll have to see. I guess what happens next week. I'm hoping that I can kill the captain and harvest his memories, and then go around and harvest everybody's memories.
Yeah. Well, the last time you harvested a mushroom
It
murdered
was
person.
pretty terrible.
Yeah, it was kind of scary actually. You were
Yeah,
falling down a hole or something.
but you guys are gonna not want. You guys are gonna want me to keep doing it. You guys are.
Yes, we like watching you do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
no, it's
I mean,
interesting.
you're
Yeah.
our little like memory harvesting machine.
Yeah,
You're a lab rat for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
I really got to
you're
get
a little
my.
guinea pig.
I don't really see you as a real person. You're
Yeah,
just kind
you're
of,
kind of just like a little
yeah.
bitch. It just gets so insulting.
But I mean, now that we have this memory machine, does it work on dead people? Can we just like plug them into the memory harvesting machine
I
and
don't know.
extract?
harvest the memory first.
Yeah, try it
I
out.
assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just start
Maybe we
plugging
just put
shit
it on
into
people.
bodies.
Yeah.
I think this is.
You know
Anybody
what?
got a
You
memory
give
they
that
wanna get
machine to Atticus, he'll go down to a morgue and he'll see what sticks.
This machine definitely
Gross.
has like the ability, like, ew. It definitely, in my head, it looks like that contraption in Saw that like rips the people's heads off.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That's cool. I was thinking you were
That is one
describing
way
it
to
before.
take the
You're like,
memory.
you have to put your eyeballs up to it, and all I can envision was like 2 spikes like coming
Right,
out of
right.
it. Like
It's got that vibe
yeah,
to it.
yeah.
Because it's like a mob machine,
Right.
you know. They're using it for dastardly things.
It's like you're supposed to be extracting. You're supposed to be
Yeah.
whatever, and they're like, "Okay, let's get the memories." Oh, by the way, they have to be dead first. Slurp the juice out, put it into a vial. It's like, wow.
well, you're assuming that most of the folks that have had their memories extracted are still
alive.
alive. Most of the stories are like they wanted to make sure this wasn't known to them as they kept going about their business.
Instead,
also
this is more like
maybe they don't want other people who can extract memories to come
That
to
too,
a
that
corpse.
too.
Right. Oh,
So they kill them and steal their memory.
I don't like that. I'm supposed to have unlimited access. Or the other thing I keep thinking is like maybe this is like, in the movie Wild Wild West when your final thing you see gets imprinted and then they can look.
Sure.
So this is like we're just seeing their
you
final
can definitely
moments.
be doing. You can get the last thing someone saw off of the machine. You put them in that thing, you'll get a picture of the last thing they saw.
Perfect.
Easy.
That's
More complicated stuff. You'll have to do rules and stuff, but
All right.
you want to get the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Let's
And then
wrap
it's
this
like,
up.
wait, why is it all backwards? And then you put the glasses on, and it's like, oh, he wore glasses. Great film.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Anyways, guys, we'll be here next week
Giant
with our
spider in the
regularly.
third act. Yeah.
So good. He got that idea from Kevin Smith. Anyway. Yes, he did. He got the idea from Kevin Smith. We'll be here, daggerheartpodcast.com or dndpodcast.org, wherever you find your podcast. Grab your sword, keep on adventuring.